Have you ever wondered what happens to a nation's identity after it's been ruled by a foreign power for centuries? What happens to the language, the culture, and the people? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Also, welcome to this deep dive into post-colonial literature, a topic we all are so confused about. But post-colonial literature, in simple, a powerful genre that gives voice to the oppressed and rewrites the history from the perspective of the colonized. So in this video, we'll briefly explore what is colonialism, what is post-colonialism, and the key themes and writers in our post-colonial literature. So before knowing about what is post-colonial literature, we should know and we should have a clear understanding of what is colonialism. Okay, because from colonialism only these things have been emerging. Okay, so we need to have a clear understanding of what is colonialism. So colonialism is when a powerful country takes control over a weaker one, that to be politically, economically, and culturally. For example, European empires like Britain, France, and Spain colonized large parts of Asia, Africa, and Americas. What happens? They imposed their language, education system, religion, and rule, often suppressing the native culture and voices. For example, just like British did with us, that is one of the basic example and the live example of colonialism. I hope you understand what is colonialism. Colonialism is when a powerful country takes over a weaker one, that to be politically, economically, and culturally. They try to dominate the weaker countries. Okay. Now, we should talk about what is post-colonialism. So after these countries, in colonialism, we learned that strong countries take over the weaker ones. So after these countries gained their independence, like they fought with the stronger ones and they gained independence somehow. So after these weaker countries, they gained independence, a new wave of thought emerged. That is called post-colonialism. So it's not just about what happened after colonization, but about the challenges, challenging the legacy of the colonial rule. What the colonialism taught them, this whole thing, this post-colonialism is the whole thing is based on that only. So in short, if I say post-colonialism looks at how colonial power structures still affects the societies today. Like when the stronger countries overpower the weaker ones, what kind of things the weaker countries people faced, how the weaker country manages itself is the challenge that post-colonialism looks at. Okay, so how colonial power structures still affects the societies today, how identities were shaped and fragmented, how language became both a tool of the control and the resistance. So it asks also critical questions like who gets to tell the story and whose version of story have we been reading. So these are the all things you need to know about post-colonialism. So now let's talk about what is post-colonial literature. So post-colonial literature talks about the stories, poems, and plays written by people from formerly colonized countries or about their experiences. So what we learned that in post-colonialism, the weaker countries, they have been colonized, they try to express their views after they gain independence from the stronger ones. So they often talk about about their experience, how they managed when they were being colonized, okay, through some stories, poems, and plays. So this is what post-colonial literature consists of. So these writer explores the loss of identity, cultural conflict, struggle for independence, racism, exile, and the hybrid experience also. Now, another writer is Jeanrhys. So she is mostly known for Wide Sargasso Sea. So this White Sargasso Sea is the rewriting of the story of Mad Woman in the Attic from the Jane Eyre, okay, revealing the racial and colonial undertones. Now, there is Derek Walcott, Amy Caesar, Arundhati Roy, and Jhumpa Lahiri. All of them offer some unique post-colonial voices from different parts of the world. So, these are some of the most famous post-colonial writers you need to know. And also, there are so many post-colonial writers, other post-colonial writers as well. But these are some of the most famous ones, and you need to know about them for must. Okay. So mostly it's about reclaiming the narrative and giving voice to those who were once silenced. Now let's look at some of the key writers and works in post-colonial literature. So let's look at some iconic figures in the post-colonial writing. So the most famous post-colonial writer that we are going to talk about is Chinua Achebe, and he is most famous, and we all literature students know him for his most famous work, Things Fall Apart, and I know it's been favorite of many students. Okay, so Chinua Achebe, he tells the African side of colonization, especially the clash between the tribal culture and British rule through his works. So most of his works feature or tells the American side of the African side of colonization. Okay, now there is Salman Rushdie. He is best known for his controversial things, okay, and we know him of course for the Midnight Children. So Salman Rushdie through his works tries to explore about India's transition from British rule to independence. So he is our own Indian writer. So Salman Rushdie through his works tries to explore about our India's transition, how the India was in the British rule and how it became after it gained the independence. Now there is ngugiwathiongo. So he was a Kenyan writer who stopped writing in English to return to his native Gikyu language as a form of resistance. So you must know and you need to know that ngugiwathiongo, maybe I'm mispronouncing the name. If you know the correct pronunciation, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so ngugiwathiongo, he was a Kenyan writer, and mostly remember that he wrote in Gikyu language because in exam this question have been asked most of the times. Okay, now let's have a final thought of what is this post-colonial literature. So post-colonial literature reminds us that language is power and the stories, they shape the nation. So it's not just about the past, it's about how the past continues to affect the present and how literature can be a powerful form of resistance, identity and healing. Also, it can be a medium through which we can express our views. Let it be through poetry, poems or stories. Okay, so next time you pick up a post-colonial novel, ask yourself, whose voice are you hearing and whose truth is finally being told. So that's it for today. If you all found this video insightful and helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below which post-colonial author or book has inspired you the most, or you want on which topic you want me to post a next video. Okay, thank you all for watching and stay tuned for more literary journeys.